It's been almost exactly 9 months since Elon Musk bought Twitter, and uncoincidentally, quite a few Twitter clones started emerging, or some of them started gaining momentum. And I'm talking about Nostr, Bluesky, and Mastodon. There is also Threads, but I'm not really going to talk about Zuckerberg's version of Twitter, because all you need to know about it, if you create an account there, it is linked to your Instagram account. And if you want to delete your Threads account, you'll also have to delete your Instagram account. Let's start with Bluesky because it has really been gaining momentum recently. Bluesky started off as inside of Twitter project, and it was initiated by Jack Dorsey, the ex-CEO of Twitter. So they aimed to develop a social media protocol called AT, and it's called Authenticated Transfer, so AT is for short. And the idea was that they create a protocol that other social media could be built upon, and you would be able to transfer your account between all those social media. However, for now, only Bluesky is using that protocol. The idea is that users don't have to stick with one platform if they don't like it. They can just choose a platform, and because they are all built on one protocol, they can transfer all the users, all their information to another application. And those applications can have different moderation policies, they can have different interfaces or different designs and even functions a little bit. However, all the posts, likes, and your social graph and your social identity will be kept when you transfer. So this is called account portability, as they call it. So Jack Dorsey, he initially conceptualized this app when he was a CEO. However, he since was kind of divorced from the project, just like Twitter was divorced from it, because Bluesky became its own project since 2021, and Jack Dorsey is now embracing Nostr, which is another social media app, decentralized social media app, and I'm going to talk about that later. Bluesky looks almost identical to Twitter, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it, or depending on how much you like Twitter. And then it also functions almost exactly the same. It just doesn't have DMs and hashtags, which is again either good or bad thing. And I think they will introduce DMs in the future, not sure about the hashtags. It's built on a federated model, so there is no blockchain in here. So that is quite different from Lens and Link3 that we talked about before on this channel. Well, what is federated model? Federated model means there are several servers, there are multiple servers ideally, that are storing user data and user identities. So you're not forced to have all your data and private data stored on one central server, which is the case with other Web2 social media. So this kind of have your own server is similar to Web1, where you had to spin up your own server to have a website hosted, but in here you can kind of choose a provider. When you just spin up your account by default, you are going on the bluesky.social server, and that is like their main server, which is quite centralized, but at least that is very easy to set up. And there is a way to put your account on other server if you have your own. You can also basically link your domain to your account. So instead of your nickname.bluesky.social, you will have .com or .us or .co.uk, this kind of thing. Bluesky is in its beta for now, and it is invite only, and shout out to Max for giving me an invite. But every user who is on Bluesky for about 2 weeks, they get an invite code to share with their friend, so their friend can also join. Some codes are also distributed randomly for being very active on there as well. As for moderation, that is the main issue that we're trying to solve with Twitter. It works quite well. In Bluesky, you can subscribe to the moderators you like, and you can layer those on top of one another. So you can subscribe to one person who is manually labeling every post like harassment or spam or not safe for work and stuff like that, or you can subscribe to multiple of them. Now let's get to how popular it is or how active it is. So there are over 340,000 users on it as of July 23rd of July 2023, and over 14 million posts. That's not a lot, that's not really comparable to Twitter. As for the funding, the company started off with a $15 million investment from Twitter when Jack Dorsey was its CEO, and it also had its own independent seed round for $8 million, which was just announced in July. So quite some good funding on there. However, the names are not that popular in the crypto industry. Let's move on to Mastodon, which is supposedly more decentralized alternative to Bluesky. Mastodon has been around for a while, since 2016. So what is it? It is also a decentralized social media protocol with a federated model. However, the federated model is slightly different from Bluesky. The idea is that it is a platform of interconnected servers that are talking to each other, and they are called instances. And each instance has their own moderator, so kind of like Reddit communities have their own moderators. And the policies are all there. And the moderators also have the power to ban users from their servers, or to kick users, or to ban other servers. So it's very much like Reddit. So when you set up your account, you have to choose what instance you are joining, keeping in mind that they have different moderation policies and rules. And one caveat here is that there is no real incentive to run an instance. So that's kind of thing to consider maybe for the future development of Mastodon, because if the users have no incentive to run the server, they are likely to abandon it, or because they are paying money, they might run out of money and not want to pay for it anymore. Mastodon is built on an open source decentralized protocol called ActivityPub. So any application that is also using this ActivityPub protocol can communicate seamlessly with Mastodon. So let's say a website that is using this ActivityPub protocol can take the data from Mastodon and have it on there. So it's Mastodon. I was likely to compare it to more something like Reddit rather than Twitter. It's a bit harder to get into because you have to pick the initial instance, and there are quite a few to choose from. Moving on to Nostr, social media protocol that is now endorsed by Jack Dorsey and even Edward Snowden, so quite some respect's paid to it. What is Nostr? Nostr stands for Notes and Other Stuff Transmitted by Relays. So what are relays? Relays are supposed to be like live servers that you can spin up. So the servers are also communicating with each other and hosting the user data in a decentralized way. Even though relays are supposedly quite light to run, the human tendency towards centralization is already evident, and there are some bigger relays that most people are using. Nostr accounts are basically wallets. There is a public key and a private key to it. And funnily enough, the nickname is your public key. So your nickname is a random sequence of letters and numbers. But I guess that's not too big of a deal for many. There is also paid servers that you can use to have a different nickname other than your public key. But again, that is paid. However, that is paid with a cryptocurrency, and they actually introduced cryptocurrency inside of it. And they are using Lightning Network's Zap payments system. Just like there are different applications for wallets where you can import your private key, so there are different wallet clients, there are also different clients for Nostr. So there is one protocol that is Nostr, and different clients for it allow you to access your data, your information, your account, and all the social interactions that you've done via different clients. There are also apps for phones, for Android, for iOS, and also desktop apps and even desktop web servers. I am going to demonstrate to you a couple. There is Iris, the one I like the most because it was the easiest to set up. There is Satellite, Yosop, there is Feeds and Snort. Some of them are not loading for some reason, but I will show you on the example of Iris. Iris, if you just go home, there is a following and the global page. I don't really follow people, but you can just follow like that quite easily. And if you go to posts, you can, first thing you can tip people using the Zap payment system, using Lightning Network, as I already said. And the interactions on here, so there is a comment, there is a retweet, there is a like, and there is a Zap. And they're showing how many people basically paid that person for their post to kind of show some meaningful interactions, so to show that this post provided some value to them and therefore they decided to pay. Anyone can use Nostr, and generating this private and public key pair is also very fast and easy. This made it very easy for people to generate multiple accounts. So there are over 2 million accounts generated, 2.2 actually million. However, the active public accounts are about 8,000. As for usability of all these apps, they're all quite small and nice and cozy and liked by many people. However, Twitter also used to be liked by quite a few people, and there are just many voices that are saying it is chaotic now. So these apps might indeed also gain some more cows as their user base increases. However, that is yet to be seen, and hopefully decentralization will save us all. And that's all I have for you for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.